In the shadowy depths of Norse mythology, where legends intertwine with fate, there lurks a beast so fearsome that even the gods themselves tremble at its name. Meet Fenrir, the monstrous wolf prophesied to bring down the king of the gods. As we delve into this ancient tale, picture a world where the line between myth and reality blurs, where cosmic forces clash in an eternal struggle for dominance. Our story begins in the mists of time, long before the twilight of the gods was foretold. Fenrir, the great wolf, was born of chaos and mischief. His father, the trickster god Loki, known for his cunning and deceit, coupled with the giantess Angrboda, a creature of primal power. From this unholy union came 3 children, each more terrifying than the last. But it was Fenrir, with his insatiable hunger and boundless strength, who would come to embody the very essence of destruction. As the young wolf grew, so too did the unease among the Aesir, the pantheon of Norse gods. They watched with mounting dread as Fenrir's size increased day by day, his appetite for flesh and violence growing ever more ravenous. The gods whispered among themselves, their voices hushed with fear as they spoke of the prophecy, a vision of the future that foretold the end of all things. In this dire prophecy, known as Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, Fenrir was destined to play a pivotal role. It was said that when the final battle came, the great wolf would break free from his bonds and devour Odin himself, the All-Father and King of Asgard. This act would herald the destruction of the cosmic order, plunging the 9 worlds into chaos and darkness. The gods, in their wisdom and their fear, knew they must act. They could not allow this monstrous threat to roam free, growing ever stronger until the day of reckoning arrived. And so, they devised a plan to bind Fenrir, to chain him for all eternity, and thus avert the prophesied doom. But how does one bind a creature of such immense power? The gods turned to the dwarves, master craftsmen of the realm, and commissioned them to forge a chain of impossible strength. The first attempt was lighting, a chain of iron so thick it seemed unbreakable, yet when they presented it to Fenrir, challenging him to test his might against it, the great wolf snapped it with ease, his laughter echoing through the halls of Asgard. Undeterred, the gods tried again. This time, the dwarves created Drami, a chain twice as strong as lighting. Once more they approached Fenrir, appealing to his pride and daring him to prove his strength. And once more, though with slightly more effort, the wolf shattered his bonds, sending shards of metal flying in all directions. It was then that the gods realized that no ordinary chain could hold Fenrir. They needed something beyond the physical realm, something imbued with magic and mystery. And so, they sent Skirnir, Freyr's messenger, to the land of the Dark Elves, where he commissioned the creation of Gleipnir. Gleipnir was unlike any binding ever forged. It was made from 6 impossible things: the sound of a cat's footfall, the beard of a woman, the roots of a mountain, the sinews of a bear, the breath of a fish, and the spittle of a bird. Woven together, these elements created a ribbon as soft as silk, yet stronger than any steel. When the gods presented Gleipnir to Fenrir, the wolf grew suspicious. He sensed the magic within the seemingly delicate binding and feared a trick. The wolf agreed to be bound only if one of the gods would place their hand in his mouth as a sign of good faith. It was Tyr, the god of war and justice, who stepped forward, knowing full well the sacrifice he must make. As Gleipnir tightened around Fenrir, the wolf realized he had been deceived. He thrashed and struggled, but the magical binding held fast. In his rage, Fenrir bit down, severing Tyr's hand at the wrist. The price of the god's victory was paid in divine blood. Bound and enraged, Fenrir was taken to a desolate island called Lyngvi, in the middle of Lake Amsvartnir. There, he was chained to a great rock, with a sword thrust between his jaws to keep them from closing. It is said that the saliva that drips from his mouth forms a river, called the River of Expectation. And so Fenrir waits, bound but not defeated, a constant reminder of the fate that looms over gods and mortals alike. His very existence embodies the concepts of chaos and destruction, a force of nature barely contained by the ingenuity of the divine. In Viking culture, the myth of Fenrir held great significance. It spoke to the Norse understanding of fate and the cyclical nature of existence. Even the gods, in all their power and glory, were not immune to the forces of destiny. Fenrir represented the ever-present threat of chaos. the wild and untamable aspects of the world that could not be fully controlled, only temporarily restrained. The impact of Fenrir's myth extends far beyond the ancient Norse world. In modern popular culture, we see echoes of the great wolf in countless stories and artistic representations. From literature to video games, Fenrir has inspired creators to explore themes of fate, power, and the eternal struggle between order and chaos. As we draw our tale to a close, I invite you, dear viewers, to reflect on the enduring power of this ancient myth. What does Fenrir represent to you? Is he a symbol of the destructive forces we all carry within us, or a reminder of the inevitable change that comes to all things? Before we part ways, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us about your favorite Norse beast or mythological creature. What aspects of these ancient stories resonate with you in the modern world? And if you've enjoyed this journey into the realm of Norse mythology, consider subscribing to our channel. There are countless more legends waiting to be explored, each with its own profound insights into the human experience and the mysteries of existence. Until next time, may the wisdom of the ancients guide your path, and may you find the strength to face your own wolves, whatever form they may take. Farewell, and remember, even in the darkest of prophecies, there is always a glimmer of hope for those brave enough to seek it.